Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to another session of Canvas Live. Canvas Live sessions are presented by the Canvas community members or Instructure employees to help Canvas users improve and enhance their teaching and learning with Canvas and Canvas products. Today's session, we're going to talk to Gentry Davies, the Senior Product Manager at Instructure for ARC, and Jesh Barlow, who's also the Senior Product Designer at Instructure for ARC as well. And they will talk to us about what they've been working on, what ARC is, tell us a little bit about the background to that product, how it interfaces or integrates with Canvas, and then they'll be open to hearing your thoughts and questions and providing some feedback to the community. With that, I will hand it over to you, gentlemen.
Perfect, thank you so much. So my name is Gentry Davies, and just really excited to show you what we're working on with ARC today. Before we jump into a demo and kind of show you what the product looks like, just want to kind of give you an overview of why we're building ARC, what we're trying to accomplish, and how we're thinking about video in education. So I'll jump into that here. First of all, we're gonna paint a picture here for what's happened with video, kind of at a macro level, and then talk about how we see ARC fitting into that world. Video is incredibly popular, obviously, and becoming one of the most common ways that we're teaching. It's a hugely important medium, and we see increasing usage kind of across the board. Some statistics on that: we know that 70% of home broadband bandwidth is going to video. We know that in mobile devices, it's 40%, and that's going up every year as technology continues to get better. We also know that almost half of students are using video in their college classes, and this continues to go up as well. We did an analysis on Canvas course content and looking at all the video embeds that are there, and we found that there were 11 videos per course in Canvas. Obviously, there's going to be some courses that have much more than that, and some that have less, but on average, we're seeing 11 videos per course in Canvas, and that's going up every year. So we know that content that is engaging gets learned faster and deeper than anything else. That's obvious, but thought it was worth calling out here. So what's wrong with this picture? We know the video is really popular, it's everywhere, we're using it more and more, and engaging content is what we're after. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that students and all of us are trained to be impatient and to get distracted and to surf. As time goes on, we're finding that our attention spans continue to dwindle. One study showed that you have about 10 seconds to engage someone in a video before you completely lose their attention. Another study in 2015 showed that the average attention span by one measure was 8 seconds. And that same study in 2000 showed that it was 12 seconds. And so we know as technology proliferates and we all have our smartphones and tablets and whatnot, we continue to expect to be engaged immediately and get pulled in other directions if that doesn't happen. We're basically goldfish. So another study here that I think is relevant is they did a lecture where they had a random set of students watch a lecture and then take an exam afterwards to see how much they learned from it, and they got 92% on this assessment. And then they took another sample group, they recorded that exact same lecture, and then showed a video to a different sample group of students, and saw that the achievement there was 79%. So there's a huge drop-off in the amount that students were learning by merely changing the vehicle from being an in-person lecture to being a video. Why is that happening? I think we all know that video back in the day, 20 years ago, I remember in school when they wheeled in the cart into the classroom to show a video, I was super engaged and I was ready to watch whatever this video was. And I still remember some of these really low quality, low production videos that I watched as like an 8-year-old, because video was magical at the time. So video was novel, and novel meant that it was engaging, and because it was engaging, it worked. And that's just not the case anymore. So video by itself is no longer intrinsically engaging. In fact, it might be the opposite. We're kind of inundated, and we know that the video isn't going to call out, reach out and ask us questions. So we're in a lecture, there's some interpersonal interactions where I'm talking to my neighbor, maybe I'm asking questions, the professor's calling on me. It doesn't generally happen in video, and so you actually have that drop off that we saw in that study. Merely consuming and reviewing video or any kind of content isn't active learning, obviously. It goes much farther than that. And what we're finding and what we're seeing here is that while video needs to play an increasingly important role in the classroom, as we get into flipped classrooms and hybrid models, there's some risks associated with that I think technology can help not only mitigate, but also enhance the value of that instruction by making it digital. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish with ARC. Before I jump into a demo here, want to introduce Jesh, and Jesh is going to talk a little bit about how we do user research and design here on the ARC team.
Great, yeah, hi, Jesh Barlow here. Talk about just a quick moment here is kind of what processes we go through to make really great products for our customers and community. We start with kind of high-level strategy where we start thinking about brand and our guiding principles, our long-term vision, any goals, what we want to achieve. Excuse me. And definitely how success is measured. And when we think about those kinds of things, we start jumping into research. And this is a really important phase that we like to get our customers and community involved in. And so that's why I'm bringing this up specifically. But that really helps us ask questions like, what should we build? What will it do? And that kind of stuff. We kind of understand what the problem is through interviews with our customers, observation, watching our customers use the software, and asking questions and surveys and getting that stuff kind of all put together. And then the next phase is we start analyzing that. We start asking why. And we build out tools that we use to help us understand our audience a little bit better. And we kind of take insights that we've learned from the data from the research and start pulling it into ideas and ways of solving that problem. This is where we'll start building kind of what workflows will look like, really low fidelity concepts, just so that we can flesh things out quickly and kind of start vetting those ideas quickly with people. We'll build prototypes, and that also kind of comes back to the research where we'll show prototypes to anyone who's interested in helping us learn about how our community, how our customers will be using our products. And then we'll start working in a production where we think we have a pretty good idea, so we're going to start making it a lot nicer and making it more real, and starting to communicate to the development team how to build this thing. And then we'll do a beta launch. Sometimes the beta launch is similar to just really high-end prototypes, so that we can really start to evaluate and understand how this product is working, again, with real customers, with real people. And you can see it's just sort of a cycle that goes around. It's very iterative. We take these ideas, these concepts, and we test them and validate them over and over and over again with our users. Once we feel like we've got something that's really working well, then we build it all the way out and we launch it. And so part of this slide where we want to talk about this is that we want to provide a link out to the community, a place where you can sign up, tell us a little bit about yourselves, like 3 or 4 questions, and we'll put you into a pool of people that we will from time to time ask to help us evaluate our stuff. So if you're really interested in the future of ARC or the future of any Instructure product, we could really use your help. And that's kind of a call for help.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Jesh. So yeah, we'll get that link in the page here in on the YouTube channel and as well in the community, so you can jump in there if you're interested. We'd love your help there. Awesome. Well, with that said, I'm going to jump into a demo here. So let me show you guys ARC. So ARC is a standalone product. It's separate from Canvas, and part of the reason we're doing that is we think there's a great opportunity for us to make a fantastic video platform that will work with both Canvas and Bridge and other products. Let's see here. I got to stop multitasking for a second. All right, there we go. So this is what ARC looks like. There's a separate site for it, separate logins. Now, that said, the vast majority of our Canvas customers, which is probably who's listening right now, are going to be using this through Canvas. And so I'm going to focus the demo on showing you how this actually behaves in Canvas. We've spent a lot of time on a really strong LTI integration so that you don't actually have to ever, come to the standalone ARC site if you don't need to. We have some customers who say, we want a video platform where we can also host the videos that are on our marketing site or somewhere else. And so, ARC works just fine outside of Canvas as well. So this is what ARC looks like when you have it embedded in content within Canvas. So I've got here an announcement, but anywhere that I use the rich content editor in Canvas, I have the ability to bring in ARC videos once I have the LTI connection set up. So it's really easy to hook this up to your Canvas account, and then let me show you how easy it is to bring in content into Canvas. So if I go into edit mode here for this announcement, apologize, my internet's a little bit slow in here, so hopefully it behaves through this. When I click on this ARC logo that shows up in the rich content editor, this is an LTI placement that will take me right into the selection flow for ARC. Now, if this is the very first time that I've ever used ARC, and I don't even know what it is, but it's gotten hooked up in my account, I'll immediately have my account created for me. I'm using my Canvas session. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to remember a separate site or a separate login. It just logs you right in, and you can see all your videos right here. Really easy for me to choose a video that I've uploaded already to my account and embed that. It's also very easy for me to upload a brand new video if I want to. I can drag and drop a video onto this window here, or I can click the upload button in the corner and upload a file. We support a whole bunch of different file formats, pretty much anything reasonable you can find. We'll take that and do all of our video magic on it to make it stream well across all platforms. We also, as you start embedding videos in courses, we're automatically organizing those videos by course. So if I want to reuse a video that I've used elsewhere, I can quickly jump in here and see all the videos that I've used in all of the courses that I have a teacher role in. Once I have the video that I want to embed, I just click on it, simple as that. Drops it right into the content on that page. So I've tried to make it just brainlessly easy for you to bring content in and also do some smart things to organize your content for you to make it easier. So this is what the embed will actually look like once you have that content embedded. Now, apologize, I have a lot of comments on this video. This is the one I usually demo in, so I've tried to delete most of them, but there's just a lot of comments that have been made. So, as I was talking about earlier, our goal here with ARC is to try to make video more of a two-way experience, more of an engaging, active experience, as opposed to just a passive consumption experience. And a big piece of that here is that I have the ability to comment inside the video. So imagine typically you're watching a video, you kind of can zone out. The idea here is that if I have a question or if I get confused or if I want to call something out, I can jump in and comment inside this video. So you notice this comment button here below the video is updating. It says comment at 29 seconds, 30 seconds, and that's because the comment, like I said, lives inside the video at that specific point. Each of these dots here on the timeline represents a comment that has been made. I can then have a conversation that kind of spins off on that. We can have a threaded discussion where we reply to that. And all of that is tied back to the timeline. So if I'm the teacher and I'm skimming all the comments that have been made, I can click on that timeline and be taken right to the point where that comment was made, so I can see it in context. Really excited by what we're seeing here as far as use cases go. Teachers are dropping in links for more information or clarifications. If there was a mistake or something that they want to add to the video, it's really easy for them to annotate the video there, which just makes it really great for students. Students get confused, they can raise their hand and they can have a spin-off conversation. That's all happening in a place where other students can benefit from it. The goal here, and this is a really interesting design problem that we've been talking about a lot, is how do we make an experience that is, by definition, asynchronous, feel more like a conversation, and we're making great progress down that path, and we have a lot of really cool ideas that we're going to be working on this year to further enhance that. So this is showing an example of commenting on course content. Again, we're really excited about this, and we're seeing great positive results from people that are using it so far. There's a different use case that I want to call out, and I think is also really exciting, and it's the student-created video use case. So because of how easy ARC is to use, we think it's a great opportunity for different instructional approaches that involve showing instead of just telling. So I'm going to have an assignment here. I'll show you what this looks like to set up. where I'm saying, hey, students, record a 2-minute video of you describing what the War of 1812 was about. Whatever the case may be, you can have some kind of video prompt here. Now, in this assignment, I have chosen a text entry box or a file upload as the 2 allowable submission types. I'm going to switch over to a student account here and show you what that looks like. So when a student logs in to respond to this assignment, they can either go to the text entry option here, and just like the teachers have, they can click on this ARC logo and they can embed an ARC video of themselves fulfilling whatever they were asked to do. If it's something where they want to have some notes that they provide or an outline or additional text entry is a great way for them to do that. Very easy for them to upload their video and then embed that in their response and send it. If they don't need to provide additional text around it and the file upload option has been enabled for the assignment, they can click on this ARC tab, and that just removes one step for them. It takes them right into the ARC selection flow so that they can just choose a video to drop in as their submission. Now, where this gets really exciting is kind of the next step here. So once they've responded to this assignment, I'll go ahead and do that here. So they'll click on Submit Assignment, and then I'll switch over to the teacher side here. This looks really cool in Speedgrader. So in Speedgrader, they can go ahead and they can grade them against a rubric like they always do, and give an overall score here kind of as a high-level summary of how they did. But then as they're watching the video, they can also give granular feedback inside the video at the points where it's relevant. So instead of just giving bulleted feedback that's kind of high-level and global, they can give that feedback inside the video at the points where it's going to make the most sense for the student. You can imagine there's a lot of different circumstances where this can be really powerful. One of them is foreign language, where they can jump in and critique pronunciation, and the students can hear themselves saying it wrong and then see what they're supposed to do. There's the journalism school at Northwestern is using this right now, where they will record 2-minute news segments and then post it, and then they can jump in and say, hey, this transition was awkward and your mic's a little low here and I really liked this. Then give great granular feedback. But really the possibilities are endless. We've seen discussion posts that use in a criminology course where they pair up and they give closing arguments for a case, and each student pair responds with their ARC video, and the teacher can go through and give comments on each of those videos in a place where all the students can benefit from it. So really excited about this and about the opportunities that it's opening for schools, especially when the oral component is really important, or if there's a technical schools being able to have something where they can show. Just really great possibilities here that we're really excited about, and have additional plans to make this even stronger. The last thing that I want to show you here in ARC before we open this up to questions is the insights data. So with our focus being helping you get the most out of your video content and going beyond just passive consumption and making your content engaging, a big component of that is going to be showing you if it's working and giving you as much insight as possible into how people are interacting with your content. So currently, if you use a YouTube or Vimeo or another platform like that, they may give you a count of how many views you've had. But it doesn't give you a lot of the story. If it says 30 views, you don't know if that was 10 students watching it 3 times or 30 students watching the first 2 seconds or what parts of the video they're seeing. We're doing some really cool things here. Because of LTI, we know exactly who's watching these videos, and we even know what parts of the videos are being played. So we can give you really great, powerful insights on exactly who's interacting with this content. So for example, this video here, I can see that 5 people have watched this video, the first 30 seconds or so, and then there's a drop off. We're about a minute in. I only have 2 people that are watching the video now. So I know at a high level in this class, like I'm losing people's attention 30 seconds in. I got to either make this video more engaging, trim out some boring parts, or I need to maybe provide better context for it going in so people understand why they need to stick it out through the video. So that's a classroom kind of insight, but we also can give you individualized insights. So I can tell, hey, what did Ron see of this video? It looks like he watched the first 30 seconds. Harry Potter, he watched the first minute. Seamus watched the first minute and then got bored and jumped to the end of the video and watched the last 30 seconds or so. Hermione, it looks like, of course, watched the video all the way through. And so you can get, individual insights on a student-by-student basis on who's interacting with the video and what parts of the video they're engaging with. We're tracking this, obviously, globally for you, and so there's really cool opportunities, we think, down the road to help with analysis and correlating this with outcomes and that sort of thing, in addition to the classroom-level actionable feedback. Points that I want to call out before we start taking questions here. One of them is that we are doing some cool stuff behind the scenes here to make sure that that ARC is behaving how you'd expect in an educational context. So for instance, if you want to use a video in multiple courses, we make sure that all the comments that are made within a course stay within that course. So if I'm using that video across multiple courses, I'm not brought in a situation where students are seeing other students' interactions on that video and getting into FERPA trouble there. So doing some cool stuff behind the scenes there to make that work. We've also obviously spent a lot of time on accessibility. It's something that's really a huge focus for us here at Instructure. Everything kind of across the board, from screen reader compliance to keyboard navigability to closed captioning support. So really excited about what's happening there. Closed captioning, we support today. If you have an SRT or VTT file, you can bring that in, and we have plans in Q2 to provide integrations to make that even more seamless for you guys. So that's kind of the quick overview of ARC here. Would be happy to take any questions here. Oh, let's see. It looks like we don't have any questions yet. So yeah, Diane just came up one. Except the video. Can you set the video up to be used in sections or groups? Yes, so videos, it's a great thing about the way that we've done this with LTI and Canvas's LTI support. Videos can be brought in anywhere across the board in Canvas. So whether that's within a private group or a group for your class or sections, yes, that gets embedded just fine. Lots of options there. We've seen it used in discussions, assignments, pages, modules as external tools. We've kind of tried to hit those major touch points, including in all of those working in the mobile app. Yeah. Great question. So are the comments by section? So we've tried to mirror the way that that Canvas is working as far as content. We might need to make some tweaks there. Currently, comments belong to the course. And so if you have multiple sections of a course, those comments will be global across the course. Hasn't presented issues thus far, and we've tried to mirror what we do with other content in Canvas, but we're also working on ways to make it easy for you to just create a fresh view of that if you want to use different views in different sections in our near-term roadmap. Along those lines, Diane, and anyone else who's interested here, we've made it a really smooth flow where when you finish up a semester and you start rolling your courses over from one semester to the next, we create fresh views of all of those videos so that the comments are starting over in that fresh course. Okay, so Diane, yeah, these are great questions. I appreciate it. Can the students see just the teacher comments at some point, like a filter, so they're not impacted by everyone at the beginning? This is something that we've heard about a few times recently. We've got about 30 customers that are using ARC now, and yeah, one of the things that's come up is graded discussions, and also being able to have private have some rules around, when they first watch the video, you don't see all the comments, but then once they've made a couple of comments, they can see other students' comments. We don't have those mechanisms built yet, but that's one of those things that we'd love to start chatting with customers about. And we will likely do something very similar to what they've done in Canvas, but we'd love to talk to customers about what they like and what we could improve on from the Canvas experience, and see if there's additional opportunities that are specific to video. One of the things that I think is related there, and I'll call out, is that we're investigating video quizzing as part of ARC here, which would give you the ability to say, I'm going to inject a quiz question 30 seconds into this video. I know I'm losing people's attention. I want to call them in to kind of change gears mentally. They can insert a multiple choice question that'll tie into the grade book. That's something that we're investigating right now, working on designing and doing interviews on that. Really excited about it, and we think that'll be a really powerful tool to react to the insights data that you have and try to get the most out of your content there. And when we think about having students not be able to see other students' stuff, if that's a perpetual thing, it might make sense to be in that same kind of video quizzing area. Captioning feature. Glad you asked that, Dallas. Making really great progress there. So just to talk about captioning, there's kind of three pieces. So the first piece is what's done today, which is that you can put in a caption file, a VTT or an SRT file onto your video. So if you already have caption files, or if you're getting those through a tool like Amara or a partner like 3Play Media, you can drop those into ARC no problem. So that's the current state of captioning within ARC. In the second quarter, we're going to be additional options for people who want to bring in caption files. The first option is going to be an integration with partners like 3Play Media, where you can come in here if you have appropriate privileges and request that manual captioning be done for a video that will be 99% accurate or more. The cost for that is generally comparatively high, and so that isn't an option for all schools in all cases, but that's something that we certainly want to provide, especially as it comes to accommodation requests and that sort of thing. The second option that we'll be adding in Q2 is the ability to do automated captioning. We have a great partner that we're working with that has invested a lot of work in this specific area of doing captioning for the sake of accessibility. In our initial tests, we took random lectures from YouTube and ran them through about partners' automatic captioning software to see how accurate it was, and we saw ranging results from like 60% accuracy up to 85% accuracy. And we've partnered up with the ones that were just the standouts across the board. From our testing, they're in the mid to high 80s of accuracy, which is just a huge help as you're going in to fix up those captions, making sure that you don't have tons and tons to do. Going from 70% accuracy to 85% accuracy is removing a huge proportion of the errors that you have to fix. We've started beta testing that captioning integration with a couple of customers, and the initial feedback is really good. The one partner that I was just talking to 2 days ago said that it feels like it's about 95% accurate. The quality of your video, if the quality of the video is solid, you're going to get really, really good results there, and we're going to build an interface for you to fix up those captions and publish them. That's going to be a big part of our Q2 feature build. Let's see here. And you're finding that students get overwhelmed by too many comments, kind of like Periscope. You don't want to pay attention after like 2 or 3 comments. Yeah, so I think that's a great thing that we're very sensitive to. Typically, we're seeing so far most of our videos are used in courses with between 50, I'd say 30 and 150 students, and we haven't had complaints yet that comments are generally getting overwhelming. We do have mechanisms in place where if there's more than 100 comments or so, we toggle comments off for that video, just for that exact reason. That's what this little toggle here is below the comments here. I can toggle those off if I'd like to just focus on the video for now. It's something that we kind of have a sticky note on our desks for, where if that becomes an issue, we have some ideas of how we can make that better and promote the most interesting comments and that sort of thing. But we decided we'd create that problem before we solve it, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that when that happens. One of the things that we have done in the meantime that we think is mitigating that is threading. So you can have a dot for every point in the video where a comment is being made, but then if there's replies and kind of ensuing conversations, that gets tucked away underneath, and you only see those if you're interested in that first comment. And that seems to be helping a lot as well. So hasn't been an issue yet, but we're keeping an eye on it for sure. Yeah, Chris, great question. So these are generally today, these are videos that have been uploaded by faculty. So if a teacher has a video they want to use in their course, they can import that into ARC and then embed it and get a whole bunch of tools and insights and the commenting ability around that. Now that said, we are about 2/3 of the way through the work to support YouTube videos, so that in addition to importing a file directly, you can also paste in a link from YouTube, and that will let you, feel and behave as if it's a regular ARC video, where you get the ability to comment in the video and the analytics and the organization, but it's actually streaming from YouTube. We've talked about Vimeo, and that might be something that we do later this year or early next year. But from our analysis looking at a behavior within Canvas. YouTube makes up about 35% or so of all the video usage in Canvas. Canvas video, which is directly embedding files, I think is about 30%, and then Vimeo is kind of a third place most popular option of, if I remember right, it's about 15%. So really interested in it, but it'll probably be a little bit later. All right, so yeah, webcam screen recording software. Great question, Dallas. So you know, with Flash and HTML5, I have a personal vendetta against Flash, and it gives me like the willies thinking about bringing in Flash. Something we have talked about on the team is, you know, given that we want to deliver video quizzing and YouTube integration and captioning and a few other really big things that belong to ARC and our core functionality, we want to make sure we get right. And given how urgently people need the ability to record video within ARC and how nice that'll be to have quickly, we have talked about, as a short-term solution, potentially reusing some stuff that we've done in Canvas, including their media recorder. So that's an option that we're tossing around, you know, reskinning the Canvas media recorder, which does use Flash, which would mean that we'd have the ability to record webcam really quickly within ARC, and then over the coming months, we'd replace that with an HTML5 based recorder once that work is complete. We're just debating that here on the team internally, trying to keep all options on the table. But the goal is definitely to have an HTML5 based webcam capture feature within ARC as soon as possible. As far as screen capture goes, it's a bit more complicated technically than webcam capture. Browsers don't have the ability to grab your screen for security reasons. In order to do that, you need to have either a plugin or a native application. So we're exploring, you know, either providing an extension or a native application that would give you screen capture ability, or integrating with a best-of-breed partner there. We'd love to chat with you, Dallas, and with anyone else who's interested in screen capture to understand that better. Generally, we hear that a lot of different tools are being used at different universities, where each department or each professor even has kind of their own favorite tool that meets their needs and is, you know, makes sense to them. A lot of these can get really complicated, and we want to be as agnostic as makes sense, where people are able to use the tools that make sense to them, and we can integrate with them really nicely. That said, we know that there's a need for just a really easy to use, simple recorder that would integrate deeply with ARC, and that's something that we're definitely planning on doing. So hopefully that answers your question there. Yeah, let's see here. So Diane, great question on reading is too much in K-12. So if you ever want to say, hey, you know what, this doesn't make sense in this context for me to have comments on this video, I'm going to have this in a discussion post, I want them to do something else, or maybe I don't want there to be commenting ability, we actually have that in ARC today. I'll show you what that looks like. It's really simple. As I go into to edit this post here, and I click on ARC to choose my video, I've got this little toggle in the corner that allows comments to be disabled for that particular embed. When I do that, it just hides that whole bottom section of the ARC embed, so that all I see is the video itself and the controls around playing the video. So we've had some cases where that makes a ton of sense. Along those lines, something that I think is interesting is, you know, if you were using a different video platform, or if you're using Canvas's built-in media platform and you want to switch over to ARC, we have the ability to go through all of your course content, identify the video embeds that you have moved those videos into ARC, and replace those embeds with ARC embeds, so that the transition, the implementation here, as you're migrating video platforms, can be totally seamless and not impact your teachers at all. And then overnight, it's as if they've been using video all along. Because the content has often been built with the assumption that your video is about these dimensions, about this size, and the commenting ability isn't there, in a lot of those migrations, it's made sense for us to just disable commenting for those embeds and just have them be a small video embed. You still get the analytics, the organization, that sort of thing, but you know, that's been an option on the table that we've used occasionally for migrations. Okay, just looking at these other questions here. Let's see here. The teacher can see video comments. We're wondering if a teacher can see the video comments by student in the gradebook or the student profile page. Great question. So wherever the teacher is able to view, I want to make sure that I'm understanding. Oh, see, you have a follow on here. So could you set it up so that only the teacher comments would be visible? So I'm not 100% sure that I'm following exactly the circumstance here, but hopefully I can clarify this a little bit. So it's nice that we get to rely on Canvas in a lot of places here, where Canvas restricts who's able to see this submission, and so anyone who has the right to see this submission in Canvas is able to see it, and no one else. And so if a student has recorded a video and submitted that, the teacher can jump in here and make comments. The student can view their submission. Oh, I apologize, Dan. That's why I'm confusing. I'm obfuscating those two different questions. So, all right. So I'll answer the first question separately. That makes it easier. So the student is able to see their comments and the teacher's comments on the submission. If they pull that up, they can view it anywhere they view that submission in Canvas. They'll be able to see those comments. See that. I want to make sure that I answered this. Can see the video comments by student in the gradebook or the student profile page. So yeah, if they're going into the submission from the gradebook or from the profile page, they'll be able to see those comments there, no problem. No one else will be able to see them unless Canvas has granted them access to that submission. So if it's a peer review assignment, or if it's a group assignment or that sort of thing, then those people will be able to see it. Okay, so could you set it up so that only teacher comments would be visible? Great question. So this is something that we've talked about doing. It would be really easy for us to do, and we have time designated on the roadmap to do it later this year. Before we put in a simple toggle that said, hey, show teacher comments only, we wanted to explore that a little bit better and see if there's an option for us. We're thinking about this, saying there's probably two different categories of interactions that you might want to have here. The one category might be just the dynamic interaction that's going to take place in the classroom, where we're asking questions, we're having conversations. The other category might be more categorized or defined as like annotations. So the ability for the teacher to say, hey, here's, I want to inject like a slide that has like some bulleted things here where I can kind of augment the content of this video, or maybe have links there, or like down the road even like circle parts of the video or point at things or that sort of thing. So we've kind of thought of annotations as a separate thing. Those would obviously need to be persistent across all courses where that video is used. We're really excited about that. So we haven't built support for that yet. We know that teachers are using comments as annotations and having great success with it. And we have some ideas for how we might be able to get there in the short term. But there's some, I think, really cool opportunities that we can do there that'll help teachers just really make their content more engaging. Okay, awesome. Jesse, glad to hear that you're loving ARC. Really excited to have you using it here. Yeah, teacher comment roadmap. Yeah, tons of ideas, and along those lines, I'm going to mention something else that we're really excited about, and one of the reasons that we're really excited to get recording as soon as possible. So I mentioned earlier the use case of a foreign language course, where I might say, hey, introduce yourself and talk about your interests in Spanish, if this is like a beginning Spanish course. Being able to jump in and critique their pronunciation and record yourself doing that as a teacher would be really powerful, as opposed to just spelling it out. That's helpful too. So we've talked about media comments. So having the ability to not just have a text comment, but also record something, either an audio or video file, to just give just a little bit more engagement into that. We're trying to make sure that the interaction is right, so that doesn't get, we don't want to have like videos on videos popping up and confusing. We've seen different approaches done by different providers that have spliced it in, but we're trying to feel that out. But that's something that we're planning on doing later this year, that I think will be really powerful. The audio and video comments right there on there, and I think that would be something that would be possible both for this context where they're grading an assignment, and also if they're just annotating their own video and wanting to provide their own kind of commentary on it. Okay, so let's see here. We used the teacher questions, but it was hard to get kids to comment right at that point. Maybe we did it incorrectly. Just to make sure that, so I think what we're talking about here, I could be wrong, but and if I'm wrong here, this is hopefully also interesting. One of the things that people have brought up and we've talked about is it'd be cool if we could have a type of video assessment. We talked about multiple choice questions, and that'll be a thing, and that's, I think, an obvious cool thing that we will build. We've also talked about different types of assignments that could integrate with the gradebook based on their behavior within ARC. And one of those things could be that if they watch over 90% of the video or something, mark that assignment as done in Canvas. So we'd love to do that. Along those same lines, you know, besides just watching, we might want to make commenting something that is you know, gradable. And so we've talked about doing a generic, hey, if they comment, you know, 2 times, you know, mark that done in their in the grade book. But another piece is, you know, we could say identify the 3 points in the video where the person speaking made this grammatical error or something. And then we could designate portions of the timeline to be, you know, drop zones for where if they comment within those time bands, it'd be marked as correct.
Another thing right now, maybe this is what Diane's talking about, is using the comments on the video to ask a question and have the kids comment on that same point. With comment replies now, we should be able to do that really well. I don't know if that was what Diane was talking about specifically.
Yeah, Diane, if you were talking about ARC, yeah, we just released replies to comments maybe a month and a half ago, and so it's possible that wasn't possible back then, where you'd ask the question and they'd try to do it at the same point. Yeah, it was a little bit tricky, and that's one of the reasons we built comment replies. Awesome. Yeah, that's just great. Carl Forrest said, interested in recording video from mobile that is synced automatically into the ARC library to be shared. Love that idea. So this is something that we've spent a lot of time on recently talking about. I'll talk about where we are today and where we're headed. So right now, ARC works really well mobile. So it's very easy for me to go to ARC directly. Works great on mobile devices. So if you're using the website on an iPad or something like that, I'll show you what that could look like here. Oh man, if I want to get crazy, hold on. We're gonna do something live here. This is dangerous, but hopefully this makes it more fun. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend I'm in an iPad here. All right, we'll be an iPad. I'm not gonna go Pro because that's like bigger than what I have here. Let's see here. Apparently I stepped into this in a weird way. Let me refresh the page. That'll maybe make it all go the way I want. Oh, apparently not. Okay. Well, this is not how it looks on an iPad. So I gave it a good go. All right, I'm gonna back out of that idea. So on an iPad, if you bring up the website and you click on this ARC launcher here, this drops you right into your ARC library. It's very easy for you to go in here and click upload. And you know, today this does what we call the file picker, where you just grab a file from your device. Now on a mobile device, they've done some really cool things using the capabilities of your mobile device, where you've probably seen this. It'll interrupt it. Thank you, Carl. It'll interrupt it and say, hey, looks like you're trying to pick a file. So do you want to record a new video or do you want to pick an existing video? And when it does that, it's really easy. Just grab an existing video from your device and upload that to ARC, or record a new one. That works really smoothly in ARC today, and we have a lot of people that are doing that. One of the things that we are working on right now with the mobile team is providing that ability for students to upload in the context of an assignment. And so, you know, I showed you this view here. If you guys are familiar with the mobile app, there's a turn in button, and that shows a few different options, basically mirroring what the tabs are here. The ARC team, or sorry, the mobile team, or the Android team, geez, okay, third try. The Android team has already introduced the ARC button here. If the LTI tool is configured for your account, you'll see the ARC tool there. They can click on that, and it will send them right to the view where they're selecting which video they'd like to submit. Oh, looks like I backed out of this thing, so apparently it persists. That's good to know about Canvas. I get to explore this live with people watching. This is fun. Anyway, so it takes them right to this view where they're able to view all their videos and upload a video and submit it. iOS is working on that capability. That should be done by the end of February. Yeah, Carl, you know, we did encounter an issue with the Android work where not all devices were able to hit that upload button and make it work. I was talking to the Android developers yesterday, and they have a fix in place that should be out in the next, with the next Android release, is what we're hoping. So if that upload button isn't working, that will be working in the near future here. So by the end of February, we're expecting both Android and iOS to have the ability for, you know, in the context of a submission, to record a video on your mobile device and submit that. And then you get that awesome experience in Speedgrader, which we love a lot. Awesome. Yeah. So great feedback, Diane, about comments below the video, sometimes being harder to read. It's a great question. We've spent a lot of time looking at different tools that do similar things, Facebook Live and Periscope and even SoundCloud and other similar ones. Looked at VoiceThread and others. There's kind of two main approaches where you do on the right side or do below is kind of what everyone does. And there's pros and cons on both. We're trying to figure out how can we make sure that we're not impinging on the video content, but also providing access to the comments directly as it's necessary. I definitely don't think we're like settled there, or that our current implementation is perfect, but we have some really cool concepts that we're exploring for how we make that better. I mentioned multimedia comments earlier. Being able to put videos into those comments is going to be a great time for us to reevaluate, hey, are we taking the right approach with the comments where they are today, or is this an opportunity for us to explore that again and maybe update kind of how those interactions work? We want to make sure that we're able to kind of hint into comments inside the video, but then have that be a springboard into an additional conversation if you want to. Trying to strike that right balance of availability versus competing with the content too much. So really appreciate the feedback and would love to talk to you some more about that.
If you're really interested, we would love to do some one-on-one testing with you on concepts we have. I'm not sure. We'll have that link out to sign up for that soon.
Yep.
So
totally. Yeah, we'd love to chat with you about that. Okay, Dallas, any plans to enable instructors to screen record the markup of student documents within Speedgrader? That is to record the mouse position and markups along with voice. Okay, we got a delay here, but I'm gonna try to ask a clarifying question and then we'll wait with bated breath here. So are you talking about, let's see here, are you talking about a student has submitted a video and then as the teacher is responding and grading that video in Speedgrader, being able to voice record their whole grading experience and then making that available to students? Or are you talking about using ARC to screen record the process of grading of non-ARC submissions? Well, that's a complicated sentence, but I want to make sure that I'm understanding where you're coming from here. This is where we get to find out exactly how long this delay is, right? Yeah. I think like I can give you a general answer, which is that we're super excited about the notion of screen recording. We really like the way that you're able to mark up things in Speedgrader today, or Speedgrader. Wow, Speedgrader, I'm mushing those together. In Speedgrader today, and we're really excited about the idea of allowing teachers to mark up video submissions. So, and we mentioned that in annotations where they could circle parts of the video. That would be awesome in like a student submission, be able to make a comment that's like an overlay or something where you can say, hey, like if you noticed like someone was walking behind you here, like maybe record in a different place here. Yeah, I think it's an awesome idea. It's something we're definitely thinking about. And you know, we've got our roadmap pretty locked down through Q3, and then I've tried to keep it totally open after that. And so I'm hoping that we're able to hit some of these major important kind of deal blocker things like captioning and video quizzing and YouTube integration and organization, all that stuff as soon as possible here this year, and then circle back to kind of second versions of what we've built initial takes on, like commenting, analytics, that sort of thing. Awesome. These have been fantastic questions. Really appreciate that. We think here if there's anything that we haven't touched on or any other cool things we've got on the roadmap here that we could share with you. Oh, I can just share some of the near-term things that are coming through right now. We've got support that will be done in the next probably week or two here so that you can drop in an audio file. It's something that we're really excited about when it comes to commenting, and we know that sometimes you have a bunch of audio content, they're not video files, and that makes perfect sense. So that'll be supported in the next couple of weeks here. We are also working on multiple uploads so that you can drag and drop 20 videos at the same time and upload that. Right now you gotta do one at a time, and so that'll just make it a little bit easier to get all your video content in here if you've got like a folder on your desktop that you want to bring into ARC. Okay, Dallas, thank you. Yeah, so a non-ARC submission like a Word doc. I think that's an awesome idea. Once we have the ability to record, being able to record that video and have that be your submission feedback, I think that's a fantastic idea. And it also gives us an opportunity to broaden ARC's scope in that submission process beyond just video. We know that video submissions are one tool, but they're not the only tool, and they're certainly going to be just one part of it. And being able to add value with ARC in the submissions, I think that's a great idea. And also, you know, depending on what we end up doing with a screen capture solution, that may just be possible out of the box, where you can record that screen capture and then you can go ahead and submit it. Yeah, or a Google Doc, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Thank you, Dallas. Awesome. Any other questions here? These have been great. I really appreciate all the thoughtful questions and engagement here. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you both so much. We really appreciate you answering the questions. This video will be posted live as soon as the session is over in the community, so feel free to continue referencing it and post your questions to the event page as well. We'll continue to monitor those, and of course in the community we have an ARC users group as well. So if you want to continue this dialogue with our product team, feel free to check that out and join that group for continued conversations as well. I've posted the link to the user pool in the event page, but I'll also post it here in the ARC community, the user group, so that you can find that pretty quickly. I think we've covered most of the questions.
Awesome. Oh, it looks like we had one more here at the end, so I'll jump in there. So let's see here. Can you tell me if your system will take a video and scale it to be viewable on different devices or internet speeds? In other words, if we upload a full HD but someone is on their cell data. Yes, Linda, that's a great question. So yeah, when you take your video file and you bring it into ARC, some people are there's so many different video formats and they don't work across all platforms. And so what we do is we take whatever video you gave us, we convert it into a form that will be usable, you know, on all devices, and we also create up to 4 different resolutions for that video. So 1080p at the highest, 720p, 480p, 360p, and so we're able to give them, you know, appropriate resolution based on their bandwidth. Now we don't currently have the ability to automatically switch between those based on changes in their bandwidth, but if they're having trouble playing the video in a high resolution, they can easily downgrade that to, you know, 380p or 320p or 480p or whatever it is. So that's something that is kind of, it's part of the boring guts of ARC that I usually don't talk about, but it is an important part of what we do there, is making sure that videos work well across all devices. So
looks like Diane's having trouble getting into the user pool. I'm curious what area you're running into.
Yeah, Diana,
just be a simple form.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you directly. It's possible that she is already in there. So yeah, we'll reach out to you, make sure we get you in that pool. We'd love to have you involved and get your insights on these projects moving forward. Yeah. Awesome.
Great. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We will, just a reminder to keep you know, checking in to Canvas Live for other upcoming sessions, and especially in our Ask Me Anything series, where we feature different employees at Instructure to share their insights. We do have a Canvas Live user group if you're interested in presenting on different topics. That group allows you to collaborate with different members of the community to come up with some presentation and feature ideas. And we have a Hangout where you can come to our Canvas Live chat rooms and talk to fellow community members in a live environment. So those resources are there and available to you. We, again, thank you so much to our presenters today. We really appreciate your feedback and insights. These are great. This is great progress for ARC, and we're excited to see more in the community about it. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.